Let's be real, making friends as an adult feels way harder than it should be. You're not in school anymore, where friendship just happens naturally. Now everyone's busy, locked into routines, and it feels like people already have their social circles. Maybe you've tried socializing, but connections feel awkward. Plans fall through, and you end up feeling like you're forcing it. I get it, because I've been there too. But here's the truth. Making friends isn't actually that hard. Most people just go about it in the wrong way. And today, I'm going to give you 5 simple ways to make friends that actually work. No fake tactics, no awkward small talk, just real, practical ways to build friendships that last. Tip number 1. Be a regular somewhere. People naturally trust what's familiar. So if you're constantly going to the same gym, or you're going to class, conversations will start happening without effort. I noticed this a lot firsthand at the gym recently. I'd go up to a piece of equipment I'm looking to use, and there'd be a guy there using it as well. I'd ask him, how long you been training for? I'm noticing you in here a lot, maybe we should hit a session together sometime. And just like that, conversation would spark and you would build rapport with someone. By the time you go again, the following week, you'd see that person again, and then you give each other a head nod. Maybe you plan a gym session. It really is that simple. And it's happened to me many times where different athletes of different backgrounds, we've had good conversation just because maybe they're a rugby player and I'm a footballer, and I asked them, what are you training for? Why are you training this way? Have you tried this exercise? We'd end up hitting a session together and we'd find a common interest between the different sports and how we're training. Eventually that would turn into someone you potentially follow on Instagram, and you'd engage in conversation together on there. Maybe you'd hang out sometime, go to a bar. You get the point. It isn't a deep, anxious thing. You just have to engage in conversation, be endearing, and you'll build friendships in your local environment. And this pings me on to my second point. Stop waiting for invitations. You might feel as though now you're in the right places and still feel as though you're waiting around for people to include you. That's where the second tip comes in. Stop waiting for invitations and start making plans yourself. Most people want to be social, but they hesitate to take the lead. I realized this back in university. I was waiting for someone to invite me out, but I kept seeing other groups having fun while I was just in my dorm. The moment I started inviting people to do casual things, go to the gym, set up a study session, hang out to have a crazy party on one of the floors in one of the dorm rooms. People appreciate someone who brings them together, and once you start doing it, you'll notice that invitations will start flowing your way too. It may sound silly, but me and a close friend of mine that I made at university, we lived on the 3rd floor, and he had an open plan room and I just had a small dorm room. So typically we would hang out in his dorm room as the main hangout place. And over time, people realize, oh, that's Will and Taj. We'll go and hang out with them. They're the place where you play Monopoly and you watch sports. It sounds dumb, but we were then known as those people where you could go, you could feel comfortable, you could play some board games, and you could watch sports together and have a fun time. It was a safe environment. If you invite people to do things that you enjoy to do with your friends, or even on your own, you'll be surprised at how many people will be very open to joining you on whatever it is you would like to do. And you will build rapport with people that way, and you will build friends over time. I mean, just a little example of me and my friend in the past, where we had an environment where you could come watch sports, and you could come play some board games and just hang out and have a good time. We eventually started to get party invites ourselves, and we ended up being known as those guys that were the sports guys. You could come play Monopoly, and it was just a fun environment. That definitely built us to having a positive impact basically on our status just within the local university halls. People ended up inviting us to their hobbies and hangouts. Start inviting people. You'll be surprised at how far it will take you in terms of your personal friendships. And that takes me on to my third tip, is when you're in these environments, give genuine compliments and mean it. This will allow you to easily break the ice effortlessly with strangers you don't even know, because people definitely remember how you make them feel. And even something as small as, hey, that presentation was fantastic. I thought you did a really good job conveying your points. You seemed very confident. I've had instances like that before where I've worked in boardrooms or we've had team meetings, and I've literally given that exact same compliment to somebody and they're like, oh, thanks Will, I was very overwhelmed. I felt quite anxious actually, but now you've said that, that's made me feel a lot better about it. Little things like that can really boost someone's day. I remember one of my experiences a few years ago. There was an Indian girl that lived next to me in my digs at university, and I remember saying to her, "Your cooking smells so good. Like, what spices are you using in your food?" I don't eat a lot of Indian food, but it honestly just smells amazing. I get hungry every time. And she would end up knocking on my door and making me meals just because of that little compliment made her feel good. I remember I was introduced into some confectionery that I wasn't used to. It was a dessert. It was called gulab jamun. I would recommend it. If you ever get to try it, I would recommend it. That was a bit of a tangent, but yeah, that's how just making someone feel good about what they're doing can end up flipping and being something positive towards you if it goes well. So definitely show an interest and give genuine compliments. It can mean a lot to somebody, even if it doesn't mean a lot to you. My fourth tip is be valuable first. And being valuable could mean a lot of things. Maybe you're the one who always hypes your friends up. Maybe you're great at giving advice. Maybe you're like me and you're a connector and you bring people together. Someone that introduces people to new opportunities. It could even be something as simple as being a great listener, because trust me, most people do not have that skill set in the modern day. And the more value you bring, the more people will naturally gravitate towards you. I'd like to share another experience I had with you last year for my birthday. Basically, I have quite a few friends in different social groups myself using these tips, and I'll just explain it. One of my friends is a professional Latin and ballroom dancer. Another one of my friends is a professional footballer, and another one of my friends is a business entrepreneur who's Muslim. The other one's a Catholic, and the other one's agnostic. There are three people that are very different from each other. However, I brought all these people together and we went out. We had a great time for my birthday. Went to a club. I noticed for me personally, bringing people together of different environments can also be very valuable. And I definitely think my value in that friendship group was bringing different types of people together. We ended up having great conversations, giving each other great advice, and connecting. And they ended up becoming friends too. So that's tip number 4. Be valuable if you can, understand your value, and add that to your friendships. As I said before, it doesn't need to be overwhelming. It can be something as simple as being endearing, being a good listener, being like me, being a connector, bringing people together. Find what works for you and add that to your friendship group. The more value you bring, the more people will want to be friends with you. And lastly, the most important truth about making friends is that you are most definitely the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now, I know this is a very common analogy, but if you want to be around driven, successful people, you have to be the kind of person that those people would want to interact with. If you want to be around business-minded people, start working on business, integrating yourself into those environments. If you want to be around athlete friends, start training in those circles. Turn up to the track and field and start training in those communities. Your environment absolutely shapes you more than you realize. And if you surround yourself with lazy, negative people that are unmotivated, that energy will also rub off on you. But if you surround yourself with people that are ambitious, people that are disciplined, people that are valuable to their community, they will push you to become better. And the best way to attract great friends is to focus on becoming a high-value person within yourself. At the end of the day, making friends isn't about luck or forcing connections. It's about putting yourself in the right places, taking initiative and bringing value, and surrounding yourself with people who inspire you. If you do this consistently, you won't just make friends, you'll build a valuable social circle that pushes you to grow and become the best version of yourself. Now I'd like to hear from you. What's been the hardest part about making friends for you personally? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. And if this video helped you, hit that like button and subscribe, as that would really mean a lot to me. And YouTube's quite a smart bugger, so there's probably a video that's just popped up here as well. Give that a listen. I think that could add some value to your life as well and potentially help you learn something else. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.